Welcome to Breaking Servers, a podcast dedicated to talking about Rust. Today's guests are Purple Crown, Slethion, and Blaze. And today's topics are what are some of the worst and best updates in the history of Rust, as well as some things that could be added or removed to increase the experience of the game.
I think the worst update's probably going to be when they brought out like both oil rigs. When they brought out no, cargo ship is okay, to be honest. I think cargo's okay.
Cargo, yeah.
But oil rig is just too easy. Do they still do the Chinook supply drops in water treatment? Is that still a thing? Because I haven't seen them.
I haven't seen one either. Two things
think
that
they
you
removed
mentioned.
it.
I even suggested this, and I'm trying to figure out how to apply to the server that we were working on, because like the true version of Rust is what we want. What we're trying to do is actually have the Chinook spawn, and imagine a Chinook on the harbor or at the mining outpost or at the abandoned. Having the clans actually go fight these monuments instead of train yard and launch site is from the past that I've seen mainly, Swordlands. And mentioning the cargo that you said, cargo is actually fun, but a huge tendency among streamers is noticing when the cargo is out because you drop above 20 FPS. Cargo is super intensive on this game. That's why you can tell when it's out just by your FPS. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it brings a ton of entities onto the game. It brings random AI and all of the items, the boxes, everything about it. That's probably why it consumes so much. I think one easy fix to the problems that you mentioned right now, not easy, but somewhat of a fix, would be making those SAM turrets more accessible to be purchased. You can purchase it at Bandit and at Outpost, and possibly even a little bit cheaper to purchase it itself. I think if people started throwing those up, people would be a little bit more hesitant to fly around with the heli.
I'm going to say what I said last podcast again because these guys obviously weren't here. I think a really good idea would be the SAM turrets that you buy, stay them with the same range, but make there be SAM turrets at monuments, like every single monument that has like a limited range that's a lot shorter. So that way you can't do like blue card of water treatment. That way you can't fly on top of power plant. You can't go do train yard just by flying on the roof. But obviously, if you're flying by, it's not just going to shoot you down like a normal SAM turret would.
Yeah, and I've seen other streamers going around on servers where it's a modded server and they customized the map itself, and they actually walled off the top of the train yard building. It's completely flat. It's walled off. You can't go in there. So I think that this is going to be something that Rust will either take a look at or the community themselves will be able to fix it. Because I've gone through and taken a look at how to custom make a map and the things you can do with it. I'm pretty positive on a custom map you can add a SAM turret onto these monuments yourself. Whether or not it would have rockets in it regularly or if the admins would have to go there and add rockets, that I don't know. But it's a great point that you bring up, and I do think that is something that needs to be addressed and brought into the game.
Just quickly then, Sparkle said in chat, Slethion was talking about how easy it is to get built up in a day. My question is, what does everyone think should be done to change and the progress of the game and keep the game as vanilla as possible? So in other words, like, what should be changed about the current progression system to make it obviously work a bit better?
It's a good question.
See, for me, it would be the
without removing
and things like that.
So we will be talking about without removing everything current, just adding things to fix it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a hard line of questioning. I feel step one, I feel like it would be reworking the AI. If we're talking, because every step, like everything that I'm thinking about gameplay, I'm also thinking about performance, because I feel like it's something incredibly important in this game. Because I got a 1080 and in stream I can barely pull 60 frames, which is kind of, sometimes it's very enraging when I drop to 30 because the cargo is out and I die because of those reasons, because my screen is fully freezing. But if we are letting that aside, I feel like they should add more encouragement to I don't know. First of all, fixing the fact of the earth, fixing the things that remove the land PvP. Probably adding turrets like you suggested, fixing the way airdrops can be looted midair. Just simply doing as a few commands and adding you can't. I don't think that requires too much work. Fixing those small details and probably bringing a monument like I think someone suggested a train that goes straight across.
Ooh.
Like they talked about the map ring, like the road ring, but that's only for cars to be implemented. So I think if they added something like that, but an actual functioning train, or for example for the Chinook event, when like the idea for the Chinook event was when they launched it, they wanted to do it the same way. For example, you would say the Ulrich works. They wanted to make it so that the Chinook falls and it's covered by scientists. It would be normal scientists, like the blue ones, but still, it would probably engage PvP and highway because the monument would stay for longer there. I feel like the crate, for example, should be 10 minutes, not 15. 15 is sometimes too much time.
Yeah.
But add scientists protecting that, so people have to actually go fight it, and it's a big thing,
Have you guys ever heard of the game Fear?
I haven't.
It's
No,
like it was
I'll
like
look it up and I'll let you know.
15 years ago. That was well ahead of its time when it comes to AI in the game for a first-person shooter. So, and I think if they implemented that in Rust, the scientists would be absolutely insane. And I think they're starting to add a little bit of flavor to the AI, but in the game Fear, it would actually learn from your play tactics. So, which would be extremely difficult to implement that into the game for a long term. But basically, like if you are there with a giant I don't know, a cargo box container in front of you, and on the other side of the container is an AI. You could lob a grenade. They'll avoid the AI, run to let's say throw the grenade on the left side. They'll run to the right side to avoid the grenade, right? And you know they're going to go over there, so you peek over the right side and you shoot them and you drop them. But after you do that a few times, it learns that, oh, this is its strategy. So the longer you progress into the game, the further you progress into the game, it gets harder because now you throw the grenade, it goes around, does the same thing, goes around to the right side, but it knows that you're coming, and then as soon as you peek, it's dropping you. So it's actually learning and adapting to your playstyle. Like, that is epic, and it was so far ahead of its time when it comes to AI. And I do think that they're starting to do that in Rust, because you can see if you start shooting a scientist, they go and they'll try to duck and find cover behind a rock, behind a car, whatever. So I think that they're trying to work their way over there.
That would be difficult though, because you've got like 350 player servers, so you'd have 350 instances of AIs learning 350 individual movement.
Yeah, like I said, it worked for that game because it was a solo only game. This, it would be difficult, but I think having an AI that learns the general because good players will play the same. Crummy players, nah, not so much. But just have some more realistic stuff, not an AI that does the same thing, that you can anticipate something, that you can predict what they're going to do and already plan out, all right, I'm going to do this move, this move, this move, and then this move, and it'll be dead. I think it needs to be a little bit more epic than that. I just watched Purple's, or no, actually it was Blazed solo. Purple, you weren't solo, you were a duo, which was great, and you did a lot of the stuff. It was you and Wolf, your buddy Wolfie. And later we actually have footage of that on here, actually. But Blazed, you were soloing the cargo. I think that should be damn near impossible as a solo player if the AI is significant. Because if it was players on there, the same amount, however many AI scientists are on there, if it was players, it's impossible. But it's because the AI is so predictable that you can solo it. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you like what you saw, be sure to follow us on Twitch, where we record these episodes live with our guests every other Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today's guests, again, were Purple Crown, Slethion, and Blazed. Link to all of their profile pages in the description.